Today I'm going to show you how you can buy an affordable home and get the highest return on your investment without breaking the bank. Well, hello, this is Wendy Pinnell, and when you're buying in an affordable price range, going in, you need to know every penny counts. Many of our buyers tell me they'd like to settle in the $600,000 to $700,000 range, but they can go up to the $850,000s if they find the right house. Well, that's not you. Your budget is more limited. You're going to have to be more strategic and more diligent. There's a lot of researching that goes into making the best decision. Okay, so first off, let's talk about maximizing your buying power. Now, going in on a lower budget, looking for an affordable home, this step is especially important. But yes, you're going to have to be even more diligent than your fellow higher budget buyers, but don't worry because I'm about to tell you how. For one, be on the lookout for MUDs, PIDs, and HOAs. And if you're wondering what those are, a MUD stands for Municipal Utility District, and it's a special district that functions as an independent limited government. The purpose of a MUD is to provide a developer an alternate way to finance things like water, sewer, drainage, road facilities. You know, that's a nice technical definition, but for you, it mainly means more cash out of your pocket. A PID is similar to a MUD in that it can be used for subdivision infrastructure items, but it can also be used for other items like we're talking landscaping, parks, sidewalks, okay, roadways. Now, where a PID differs from a MUD is that the PID is not a political entity. A PID is funded through bonds secured by liens against the property. Now, you're probably familiar with the concept of an HOA, but if you're not, an HOA stands for Homeowners Association. It's an organization in a subdivision that makes and enforces rules for the properties and residents. Now, those who buy a home within an HOA automatically become members and have to pay dues to the HOA. When it comes to your HOA, there are some things that could cost you more, and believe it or not, there are some things that could save you money. For example, Pecan Square in Northlake is an adorable subdivision, and of course it has your HOA. Well, the cool thing about Pecan Square, the HOA includes your internet. Now, if you think about it, internet will often run you like well over $100 per month. Well, that's $100 saved if you buy in Pecan Square. But you also need to be on the lookout for unexpected expenses that could affect your budget. For example, suppose you have a cute little RV, okay, that you've been parking at your home. Well, there's a good chance you won't be able to park it in any neighborhood in an HOA. And that means you may have to find a place to park it. And of course, that's going to dig into your monthly budget. Another thing to consider is to be careful if you have a home-based business. Okay, suppose you're a stay-at-home mom and you babysit other children in your home. You need to check the HOA and rules about that. Otherwise, you could find yourself losing a good chunk of income. So in general, for those of you on a budget looking for an affordable home, the MUD, the PID, and the HOA, all right, these three can take a big bite out of your income and ultimately your buying power. So while you're on the hunt for a new home and you have your budget in mind, a general rule of thumb to go by is this: the more amenities a community has, the higher the HOA will be, and the more likely there'll be a PID. Okay, the next thing that can greatly affect your buying power are property taxes. Not only must you pay attention to property taxes in different areas, but you need to understand how they're calculated. In Texas, property taxes are managed by each county, not by the state. They're assessed as a sum of several factors, okay, like the county and the school district, which all homes are within, and then the city, college, hospital, or other special assessments that not all homes are within. Now, each of these factors are a percentage of the total tax rate. If you're on a tight budget, okay, you're probably thinking right now, great, Wendy, which counties have the lowest tax rates? I'll just buy there. And that's a valid question, okay? So how do the major counties measure up? Okay, well, let's talk about that, but let me be clear, this is very approximate because each home can have special assessments that are micro-local. But let me give you an idea of the major counties. If we start at our north and west, we find Denton County. In terms of taxes, Denton has a county, school, and city tax. Now, if we slide over to Collin County, Collin County has a county, school, city, and college tax. Now we head to the south and east, you'll find Rockwall County. In Rockwall County, you'll have a county, school, and city tax. The same is true if you head all the way south to Ellis County. Again, you have a county, school, and city tax. All right, but then you have your bigger counties, Dallas and Tarrant County. These two counties are going to have a county, school, city, college, and hospital tax. So each of these counties will differ by county, city, and school district, but counties that don't have those community colleges and hospitals are obviously going to have lower property taxes. Within DFW, you're going to end up paying your lower property taxes like in places like Denton County, okay, because they have really low tax rates. And if you want to find this info on your own, which you should, most counties will have tax calculators that you can find online in order to figure out tax rates. All you would do is enter the county name plus the words tax estimator or tax calculator. Just for fun, let's do a quick comparison. If you bought a $350,000 house in Denton County, in the city of Denton, in the Denton School District, your property taxes would set you back by about $6,853. If you bought that same price house in Collin County, in the city of Princeton, in the Princeton School District, your property taxes would run you $7,130. All right, that's not a huge difference. Okay, we're talking what, like $23 a month? Now, suppose you bought the same price house in Dallas County, in the city of Lancaster, in the Lancaster School District. Your property taxes are gonna run you $7,445. Now, you're talking about a difference of roughly $592 per year, or approximately somewhere around like $50 a month. When you're on a limited budget, looking for an affordable home, okay, do you see how a little bit of strategy can go a long way? Oh, and I've got one more tip for you. Buy outside of city limits, and then you won't have a city tax to pay. Okay, another step to maximizing your buying power is this. Be diligent in comparing loan programs. One of the great things about our Metroplex is the amount of loan programs and government assistance programs. I mean, we've even found programs that waive mortgage insurance, and that'll save you like a few $100 a month. Many are geared towards first-time home buyers or those with moderate incomes, but some don't have anything to do with income, and they're more based like on location. Don't forget about new construction interest rate incentives either. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way I can afford new construction on my budget. But if you only knew how many new construction homes I have helped buyers buy in the last year for like $350,000 and less. And with some of those builders offering fixed rates at 4.99%, you can't afford to not buy new construction. I mean, interest rates make a huge difference. A $300,000 mortgage at 7% interest will run you $1,996 a month. That same mortgage at 5% interest will run you $1,610 a month. I mean, this could be the difference between like a $1,600 and $2,000 mortgage payment every month. Now, once you've gathered your information, now it's time to do your homework. Take a look at all of the programs and incentives. All right, for example, you want to compare between no mortgage insurance at market rate and new construction with interest rate incentives. I mean, suppose you bought with the Ignite home ownership program that waives mortgage insurance. You'll have to pay the market rate of roughly 7%, but you won't have mortgage insurance. You also have the option of the builder's preferred lender, and you could pay a 5% interest rate, but you'd have that pesky mortgage insurance. Okay, so in this case, how do the numbers add up? Well, $350,000 at 7% interest will run you $2,329 a month. $350,000 at 5% interest will run you $1,879. And then you'll have to add in that extra $200 for mortgage insurance. So your total mortgage expense will be $2,079 a month. So in this particular scenario, I mean, it makes sense to go with the builder's low interest rate. Now, while we're on the topic of qualifying for your loan, keep in mind that the whole time you're under contract, you need to live like you're under a magnifying glass. All right, now this is especially true when the numbers are tight, right? When you're on a tight budget. Don't spend anything extra. Don't charge up your credit cards, and do not obtain any new credit whatsoever. If you need a new refrigerator, wait until after closing if you're planning on buying it on credit. Right along with that, let's talk about how loan pre-approval works with new construction. And let me just tell you right now, you need to be really careful with loan pre-approval. So again, if you're counting your nickels and dimes, you're on a tight budget, you're looking for that affordable home, you can very easily lose your deposit. You need to know that. Let's just say you've done a little math online and you figure you'll qualify for a $350,000 home. So you put down $5,000 for the deposit, apply for a loan, and lo and behold, you don't get qualified. Did you know you can lose some or all of your deposit if you don't get pre-approved? For example, when it comes to your earnest money deposit, the Perry Homes contract states that purchaser may terminate this contract and receive a refund earnest money minus a termination fee to the seller of 50% of the earnest money only if purchaser fails to qualify for financing and notifies seller of same in writing within 14 days. So basically, with Perry Homes, if you don't get qualified, you will instantly lose half of your $5,000 deposit. Or even if you find out that same day that you're not qualified. Perry says they get to keep half of the deposit as damages for the trouble you put them through. Meanwhile, you have Antares Homes, okay? Their contract states if within 30 days of the effective date, buyer is unable to obtain a conditional qualification letter through no fault of buyer, buyer may terminate the contract in writing, after which the initial deposit will be refunded. Each of these new construction lenders, they're going to have their own guidelines for how long they'll let you take to get approved. Now, some will keep all or part of your earnest money, even if you don't get pre-approved. So if you know you're on a tight budget and you're at all unsure, I definitely recommend getting pre-approved before you sign anything, and definitely before any money changes hands. Now, while we're on this topic of money changing hands, you're also going to want to carefully review the buyer representation agreement with your realtor. Some buyers are under the misconception that they'll never have to pay a realtor. Or it might be, that you should never thought about it. Well, every realtor is different, but here's the truth about what can happen when you're working with a realtor. Some realtors will start by charging you for a transaction coordinator. This can run you anywhere from $300 to $500. This is an administrative role which monitors every step in a sale from the time you're under contract until you make it to closing. It's a job realtors are expected to do, but in this case, the realtor has someone else doing it for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in this case, the realtor is having someone else do their job and making you as the buyer pay for it. Another big one is the realtor's commission. Okay, the agreed to commission has to be paid in full at closing. But what is that commission? Well, paragraph 11B of the Texas Real Estate Commission Buyer Representation Agreement states, broker will seek to obtain payment of the commission specified first from the seller, landlord, or their agents. Then it continues, if such persons refuse or fail to pay the broker, client will pay broker the amount specified less any amounts broker receives from such persons. Now, suppose your realtor charges a 3% commission, but you end up going with a new construction builder. Maybe they only pay realtors a 1% commission. Depending on the type of representation agreement a buyer had signed, it could mean the buyer would need to pay the remaining 2% as a closing cost. On a $350,000 home, this would add another $7,000 to the closing costs. Now, this is totally the norm with buyer's agents in Texas. To the extent we're talking about affordable homes and being on a budget, you can't have that expense sneaking up on you. By the way, we at Home in Dallas choose to accept payment in full from our sellers regardless of what they pay. So if we sound like your kind of people, you're definitely going to want to check out our Let's Find Home Questionnaire that you can find in the description section. So you're getting the idea of how to maximize your buying power and keep your costs low. But we also want to make sure you're getting the best possible investment. So let's talk about another very important thing to consider when you're buying a new home. All right, when it comes to comparing pre-owned homes to new construction, overall, new construction is probably going to give you a better return on investment than pre-owned homes. Now, part of the reason for this is people just like the newer floor plans and the newer communities. Plus, if you're on a budget, new construction is a safer bet, okay? A brand new home has a much lower chance of having your AC explode and flood everything 2 months after you move in. Plus, new construction almost always comes with these same types of warranty, okay? They look like this. During the first year, you'll have a warranty on all workmanship and exterior materials, okay? We're talking like siding, stucco, doors, trim, drywall, paint, okay? Then the first 2 years of coverage, okay, will be on windows, heating, ventilation, air conditioner, plumbing, electrical systems, okay? And the standard of coverage in Texas for major structural defects is 10 years. So you're looking at your home as an investment, okay? A piggy bank, right? We want to be putting deposits in your piggy bank all the time by paying down your loan and building equity, okay? We don't want to be taking money out of it by replacing a $10,000 air conditioner. So your safer bet is new construction, all right? Your goal, even with your affordable home, is to build long-term wealth. Another pro tip here, if you're going to be looking at new construction homes, you've got to be extra careful on standard versus upgraded options. So don't just assume that fancy finish you loved in the model home automatically comes with your purchase. All right, you can ask the sales consultant for a list of standard features and have them walk you through their model to show each of these features as well. Compare different builders to see which will give you the most bang for your buck. In terms of a return on investment, especially make sure you get as much wood look flooring as you can and don't go with carpet in the living areas. Now, while we're talking about how to make new construction more budget friendly, go with inventory over new builds. You can almost always negotiate a better deal. I mean, just think about it, okay? A builder just spent millions to build like 10 new inventory homes and none of them are under contract yet, okay? Will that builder be more motivated to sell those inventory homes or the lot in the corner that doesn't even have anything planned for it yet? Well, successful negotiations are more important than ever when you're on a fixed budget buying an affordable home. Now, lucky for you, I made an entire video about negotiating and all kinds of negotiation strategies that you can watch right here. In the meantime, Wendy out.